Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to do a 2-year review on the CMMG 22 conversion bolt. I've done previous videos on this, but hey, now I've had it for 2 years, and basically I like it so much that I just got a second one in. Okay, now basically I was where I really wanted I wanted extra magazines. These CMMG magazines are really good. They're like $25 a magazine, and basically what I decided to do is, if you buy this 3-pack, you get 3 magazines plus the conversion bolt. And I think it comes. I forgot what I paid. It comes in somewhere between $150 to $200. And I wanted to have a second backup bolt to keep at a different location, so it just made sense to get another one. A good indication of how much I like something is how many of it I own. Okay, so when you look at the different guns I review, when you see I own multiple guns of a particular model, you know it's a really good gun. Okay, so let's first of all, let's throw this in there. Now what I find is that these 22 conversion bolts match up really well to the AR pistols, right? Just because you're shooting light 22s, it's a very light gun, so it's a really nice matchup. So let's push the pin in, get this thing opened. All right, so take out the 5.56 bolt. We'll put it over there. I'm gonna put this in. We're gonna do a bunch of things. We're gonna talk about accuracy. We're gonna do a little bit of shooting. Let's get this guy in there, close it. Okay. Now, one of the things you gotta be careful with is that when you're shooting it, don't outrun the gun. Don't pull the trigger so fast that you're gonna outrun the gun. The only 22 ammo that I have found that does not work at all with the 22 conversion bolt is the Remington Golden Boys. Okay. All other bulk ammo that I have bought works pretty good with it. Now the Federal works okay with it, if you're doing it in single shot mode. But if you got a binary trigger in there, okay, which we're gonna be shooting today, the Blazers are way better. Okay, and of course I've got some CCIs here. CCIs are nice if you're trying to get some accurate shots at distance, but if you're gonna be doing a lot of shooting, you need bulk. And basically, you need these bricks, basically, if you want to do a lot of shooting. That's one of the benefits of the 22. Okay, so we got the 22 conversion bolt in there. We got some Blazer ammo. Okay. Nice. Okay. So that's single shot mode. All right. And let's put this on the side for a second. Get this guy out over here. Okay, this going over here. Okay, that's your safe mode. That's your single shot mode. That's binary mode. Okay, so binary mode is basically a 2-round burst, right? That's what it feels like to me when I'm shooting it. When you squeeze the trigger, you fire 1 round. When you release it, you fire a 2nd round. So basically, it's 2-round burst in practicality. A lot of fun to shoot. Definitely something that everybody should have for at least one AR. I probably wouldn't bother putting in all my ARs, but you gotta have at least one of those. I got more than one. Okay, so that's how easy the 22 conversion bolt is. And one of the nice things is, if you see how easy it goes in and out, that's how easy it is to clean, right? One of the things that I do not like about dedicated 22 guns is they're usually very hard to take apart and clean. Okay, I have a Ruger 1022 pain in the ass to take apart. I had a Ruger Mark III pistol. That was the biggest pain in the ass in the world to take apart. Mark IV is a lot better, but these 22 conversion bolts, they're really nice and easy to take apart. Okay, so let's get this guy in there. Okay, now when you're shooting binary, right, you gotta be careful not to outrun the trigger. Okay, basically the action is gonna be boom, 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 boom. Don't go boom, 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 boom. You're gonna jam it up. Let the trigger do its job. Your job is to a steady pull. Okay, so it actually takes a little bit of training to get good with shooting a binary trigger. Okay, let's get on the targets here. All right, there we go. So with the Blazers, it works really good in binary mode. When I was trying these bulk Federals earlier, you know, it was working, but I was also getting at least one jam per magazine. They're a little bit underpowered compared to the Blazers. So that's why I'm planning to do a review on these Federals as well at some point. But today I got some, you know, the Blazers are definitely better if you got a binary trigger for your CMMG conversion bolt. You know, but if you're just going single action, a single shot, the Federals will work fine. I didn't experience any jams when I was shooting it single shot, except if I really went really fast. If I was trying to pull the trigger really fast, I was outrunning the trigger. So that's one of the things to be aware of. If you're getting jams with the 22 conversion bolt, you might be pulling the trigger a little bit too fast, okay? The other thing is, like I said, the Remington Golden Buckets, they don't work very well with this conversion bolt. So let's just talk a little bit about accuracy. And part of the reason why I ended up using this rifle here today is because I put a riser on this Holosun 510C. So I was actually surprised at how much it threw off the zero just by taking it off, taking it off, pulling it apart, right, taking the base off, putting the riser in between here, putting it back on the gun. I mean, I was still able to get on the paper 50 yards, but it shifted it considerably. So I re-zeroed this to the point where at 50 yards, I was getting 3 shots in the bullseye over here. I said, great, let me go out to 100 yards now. So at 100 yards, right, because remember, I was centered at 50 yards in the bullseye. Usually when I go to 100 yards, the point of impact shifts up here because the bullet's rising now. And usually I impact somewhere over there. So what I do is at 100 yards, instead of putting my dot over this, I put my dot underneath it like this, which is better because now I can actually anchor a little bit better to the bullseye. And when I do that, I usually impact someplace over here. However, the wind was doing some weird stuff today. I can see now I got like a 5 mile an hour blowing that way before it was blowing this way. So the wind's doing crazy stuff. So it actually shifted me down and to the left a little bit. So I probably had like a wind coming in and to the left. But the shots are tight, so you know my shooting was good. And so this is with the 5.56, all right. So with the 5.56 PMC X-Tax, I just did this one 3-shot group, and I got 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so that's a palmetto upper on an aerial lower. Okay, so pretty typical of what I'll get on most of my budget ARs. They usually come in at about 2 inches on average, or a little bit better. So this, again, just threw it out there with the 5.56. I hit 1 3/4 inches. I said, great, let's put in the 22 conversion bolt, okay, and let's see where we hit. Okay, so initially I tried it on this paper over here, okay, and what I did is I kind of forgot what my holdover was. So I thought I had to put my red dot over here, and then the bullets were hitting the ground over here, and the rock bounced up and put a rock right through here. So then I had to review some of my prior videos to see what my holdover was. Right? So I looked at my 50-yard CMMG video that I did in the past, and I remembered that in that video I said that you pretty much have to go, because if you have a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle, you want to go halfway between the dot and the bottom of the circle. That's where your bullets are going to impact at 100 yards, right? When you've got a 50-yard zero on the rifle. So the way because the dot was basically, I picked up a point out there, because you can't just, if you just say I'm going to go halfway between the dot and the bottom of the circle, it's hard to be consistent. You gotta either anchor the dot to something up here or anchor the bottom of the circle down to something down there. I found something up here where I could put the dot on, right? And I did 2 groups with this. The first group, I was actually anchoring to the top of the paper, over here, because I hadn't realized how far, you know, I actually anchored the dot up here, and they impacted down here. So this was interesting because I got, again, this was with the CCI 22 to 20, the CCI mini mags, okay, with these guys here. So at 100 yards, I took 5 shots, and I got a nice cluster of about 3.5 inches, but then I got this one flyer way out here that completely messed up my group. I don't know what was up to that. That opened it up to 8 inches, but that was kind of screwy. So I don't know. You know, I don't know what happened with that bullet. But 3.75 inches, 3.5 inches down here, and then I did another group where I found a different spot a little higher over the target where I anchored a little bit higher. That time I went a little bit too high, and what I got on that one, I got 3 shots over here that came in within 1.75 inches, which I think is more of a fluke because the next 2 came here and here. So let's look at those. So if you look at this hole up here and that hole over there, I am at 3.5. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna, between this cluster here and the 5-shot group up there, I'm gonna just call this a 4-inch MOA. You know, I'm gonna say that you can hit 4 inches at 100 yards with this 22 conversion bolt. Now, the question becomes, why the difference? How did we go from 1.75 inches to 4 inches over there? Okay, there's 2 main issues. First issue is that if you look at a dedicated 22 rifle like the Ruger 1022, the twist rate is 1 in 16. Okay, the twist rate on this is 1 in 8. So you got a different twist rate. Okay, so that's going to affect your accuracy a little bit. And the other thing is that when you've got a, when you put your when you're shooting a 5.56 at this, right, the bullet, when the bullet goes into the chamber, the bullet, when the cartridge goes into the chamber, the bullet's right up against the rifling almost. Not exactly, but it's pretty close to the rifling. With the 22 conversion bolt, so let me get this back out so I can show you guys. Get you out. So with the 22 conversion bolt, the chamber's back here, right? So then you've got this barrel extension here. So when the hammer comes in here and hits the firing pin, right? Because that's what happens. As your firing pin in there comes in, right? This is your, you know, this is how that opens up to extract, right? There's your chamber, right? You see the feed ramp over there. Okay. So when the hammer comes in and hits this, the chamber's here, the cartridge ignites, right? The bullet has to travel about 2 inches before it gets to the rifling of your barrel. Okay. So when it hits that rifling, there's like a little bit of a jolt. Okay, as opposed to if you put a 5.56 round in there, when it fires, the bullet doesn't have to travel that far before it gets to the rifling, and that's one of those things that can affect accuracy. And if you know, it's one of those things that reloaders try to get perfect, right? If they're trying to create really super accurate ammunition, they try to make it so that they seat the bullet so that when they chamber it, it is basically almost touching the rifling. Okay, so the fact that the 22 has to travel about 2 inches before it gets to the rifling is going to affect this. Now the other thing is that even though the 5.56 and the 22 long rifle are about 22% of an inch in diameter, there's a tiny difference. So I believe the 22 long rifle is a little bit smaller, but what I think happens is when it fires, the soft lead from the pressure expands a little bit, and it goes out, and it basically, you know, gets all snug up against the inside of the bore. Okay, but that can also be another reason, right, why with the 5.56 we're getting 1 3/4 inch groups, whereas when we put the conversion bolt in there and we're shooting at 100 yards, we're coming in at about 4 inches. You know, some days, let's just say between 4 and 5 inches, okay? Now, the good thing there is when I shoot the Ruger 1022, it does about the same, okay? It might be a little bit better. I've done a video on that where you guys can look it up. On the day that I was testing the CMMG 22 conversion bolt, and the Ruger 1022 side by side. On that particular day, the Ruger 1022 was getting 4 inches. The CMMG conversion bolt was getting 5 inches. Okay, now today the CMMG is coming in close to 4 inches and maybe slightly better. So it's enough to say that, hey, it's pretty close. It's shooting pretty close to what a dedicated 22 rifle would be shooting. Okay, so again, that's the reason why I have 2 of these. Now, another thing that's worth mentioning, that's this one over here. This is the first one because this is the dirtier one. I've had this for 2 years. About a month ago, I went to clean it, took it apart, and I saw that the firing pin spring had broken. Right, the back like quarter of the firing pin spring, there's a little spring inside, had broken. The conversion bolt was still functioning, was still working fine. What I did is I took a picture of it. Took a picture of the together the spring with the conversion bolt, and I sent an email to CMMG, and I gave them my name and address in the email, and I said the spring broke, please replace it. Okay, and here's the thing, they don't know who I am because when I sent that into them, I used my formal name. I don't use my formal name in the videos that I do, so they had no way of knowing that who I was and that I do video reviews and that kind of stuff. And what they did, they sent me back 2 firing pins and 3 springs. Okay, so 1 spring went into the gun to replace the broken one, and now I've got 2 spare firing pins and 2 spare springs, and that's what I want from a gun company as far as customer service, right? First of all, I didn't have to get on the phone with them and wait, go through this telephone tree and talking to different people. Okay, I got an email address. I sent them a picture of the broken part, okay, that I obviously own, right, because they can see it in the picture. Send them a picture of the part, gave them my address, and then the next email response that I get back is, we're shipping it out to you. That is perfect customer service. I don't own any other CMMG products. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I do own some accessories, but I don't own any other CMMG firearms. But because of that customer service, like, I am now inclined to go and buy CMMG guns, because I know they make like other guns, right? Like complete guns. So that customer service is great. Really happy with it. And that's definitely the type of thing that's going to make me go back to the website and see, next time I'm looking for another AR or whatever, that's a place that I'm going to go look and see what they have to offer, right? So excellent customer service, perfect. All right, just sent them a picture, send them my address. Here's the broken part, please replace it. I get 1 email back. It was shipping it out. End of story. Love that. Beautiful. So that is my 2-year review on the CMMG conversion bolt. I think it's a definite must-have. I did a video a couple of months ago where I did a 4 must-have guns for the Biden apocalypse. Okay, well, no, 4 must-have guns for the Brandon apocalypse. That's what I called the video. Sorry, I made a mistake on the name. It was the Brandon apocalypse. If you guys haven't seen that video, look it up. Just look up Brandon apocalypse, you'll find it. And on that video for this year, for 2022, the Ruger 1022 came off of that list, and the CMMG conversion bolt went on it. And the reason why I did is, first of all, it's really good. It gets good accuracy, and you can basically throw this into any 5.56 AR that you have. And here's the thing: you might say, well, why not have a dedicated 5.56 and a dedicated Ruger 1022, right? Well, here's the thing: obviously, I'm not throwing out the Ruger 1022 that I have. I'm keeping that. But as far as new people coming into the game that don't have a Ruger, a dedicated 1022, do you tell them to get a conversion bolt, or do I tell them to buy a dedicated rifle? Well, it makes a lot more sense for me to tell them to get a 22 conversion bolt. First of all, the groupings are pretty tight, right? They're almost as good, right? It's a lot easier to clean this, right, than taking apart most dedicated semi-automatic 22 rifles. I should have said that earlier, right? Because a bolt action 22 rifles, easy to clean. But most dedicated semi-automatic 22 rifles are a pain in the ass to take apart. So it's a lot easier to take apart. And then the benefit is, here's the thing: if you buy, let's say you have one AR, one 5.56 AR, and one dedicated 10-22. Okay, wait. Now you got one of each, right? But if you get, oops, close it, close that. Okay, so if you buy two 5.56 ARs, right? So now you got two guns that can shoot 5.56, but now you also have two guns that can take the 22 conversion bolts, right? So in like my case, I have two 22 conversion bolts, so both these guns can shoot 22 long rifle. So to me, that makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense to get the 22 conversion bolt, buy another AR, right? If you want to have a dedicated 22 rifle, then fine, get another AR, take the bolt out of that, put this one in there, right? And then, but if you want to shoot it in 5.56, you can just put the other 5.56 bolt in there, right? You can always, you can always take this and put in there. However, in the instructions, CMMG does say not to leave this in there. They recommend that you take it out. I don't know the details of why, but that's what they recommend. Now, one of the things to be aware of, if you do shoot like thousands and thousands of rounds of 22, like I do, some of the residue from the 22 long rifle starts getting caught up in your gas tube. Okay, so what you want to do is after a couple of 1,000, 2,000 rounds, if you're going to shoot that much, shoot a couple of rounds of 5.56, because that's going to flush out your gas tube. Okay, so don't let it build up to the point where that really becomes an issue. At least every 1,000 or 2,000 rounds. If you're only shooting 22s, do shoot like a 5.56 through it, or 2.23 to flush out your gas tube, to make sure that the gas comes all the way out. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I'm all thumbs up on the CMMG 22 conversion bolt. Love their magazines. These are very good, tough magazines. And I think I mentioned it earlier. The main reason why I got the second 22 conversion bolt is because I really wanted more magazines. And at that point, I said, why not just get a 3-pack that has a 22 conversion bolt in it, and I'll just have an extra bolt, which is always good to have. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Drop some comments below. Helps your algorithms. Make sure you're following me on my other channels, like Odyssey, like Rumble. I also got another YouTube setup called Absolute Guns. Find me there. So thanks for watching. Drop some comments, hit the thumbs up, and I'll talk to you all soon.